For 14 years, a mother has waited for this day, to tell the world of the policeman who had tortured her son before he finally disappeared. This morning, Elizabeth Mtimkulu is going to the Truth Commission.
I am thanking God that this day has come. That's what kept me.
She and her husband, Sipho, are armed with a set of diaries Siphiwe Mtimkulu wrote in detention. It tells the story of a gang of Eastern Cape security policemen who savaged and brutalized a young man.
Although he is dead, he can still talk. He is talking now. I'm glad about that.
Siphiwe Maxwell Mtimkulu, leader of the Congress of South African Students.
He told me that even if they can kill me, as long as they will be killing me for truth. And I am not doing what I'm doing for myself. I am doing it for my child, for my grandchild and my great-grandchild. I am doing it for the whole world, not only for my family. I can even die now for it. Even now I can die.
Mtimkulu was leading a resurgence of student militancy in the Eastern Cape. On the 31st of May 1981, he was arrested during anti-Republic Day demonstrations in Port Elizabeth. Mtimkulu was in perfect health when he was incarcerated. When he emerged from detention 5 months later, he was a shadow of his former self.
I remember his words once telling his father that they have finished me this time, Father. I don't think I'll be right anymore. Because now even my memory is not like before. I don't think that I will be that pure of yours again.
I want to know to him, how do you feel? What happened there inside? He said to me, I'm finished because torturing make me finish inside. Because I see myself to come that room. A kakang is coming, he could not walk. Come that room and then come this side in the bed. Come.
He was crawling.
In the middle.
2 days after his release, he was unable to walk. His hair fell out. Medical tests showed he had been poisoned with thallium.
I even kept his hair that fell off from his head in Cape Town. As you can see it, this was flesh from his head, this. You can see it for yourselves, that it's not a lie. Even Professor Ames, who treated him in Cape Town, can prove this to you.
Mtimkulu spent months in hospital recovering. In April 1982, he sued the Minister of Police for torturing and poisoning him. 2 weeks later, Siphiwe Mtimkulu and a friend, Topsy Mandaka, disappeared. They were never seen again. Mtimkulu must be dead, but he left something behind, a set of diaries.
The very day of release, after being released, he wrote the diary. I'm releasing it now because I want these people to be exposed for what they did to Siphiwe. I still had on only my underpants. Nivold left the office with the towel. He returned. The towel was wet and dripping with water. He tied it over my nose and mouth. As I inhaled water, entered my nasal passage. Breathing was difficult. I lost consciousness and fell. The towel was removed. This was done until I lost consciousness several times. Each time I fell on my back. At times he will sit on my back and hit me. The others would kick me like Dunster while doing push-ups. The moment I stood up, he would start boxing me. That is Dunster now. Others will laugh and kick me and then walk away. Dunster apparently is interested in karate. He is the one who hit me with karate blows.
The Eastern Cape's most notorious former security policeman, Lieutenant Colonel Gideon Nieuwoud. According to Sepiwo, one of the men who tortured him. But Gideon Nieuwoud had been a visitor to the Mtimkulu household before the detention and disappearance of Sepiwo.
He came here pretending as if he's a priest with a white collar.
He's putting a Bible here. He's got a collar on. That's a gun, yeah.
That's how he came to trap us. It's only Spear told us that it is Nieuwoud. Those are Nieuwoud's tricks. And he's very dangerous. You must be careful of Nieuwoud. That's what he said to us.
Ow, he's a policeman. Oh dear, he's a policeman, that man. I didn't know. Myself, we don't know. Myself, I don't know.
Nieuwoud obtained a court order last month to prevent Elizabeth Mtimkulu from naming him unless he had been given ample time to respond to her allegations. He denies any involvement in any killing or torture.
I felt, I was very worried and I felt depressed. I was cross with Nieuwoud and them because I don't know why they do all these things. I'm sure they know that they are going to be exposed. I felt very bad.
During the first sitting of the Truth Commission in East London last month, he was already implicated in torture. In the same week, former Vlakplaas assassin Joe Mamasela confessed on this program his complicity in the kidnapping, torture and murder of 3 Eastern Cape activists in May 1985. He also implicated Gideon Nieuwoud.
Lieutenant Nieuwoud beat them up with an iron pipe into their heads so severely that they were kicked, they were punched, they were stomped, or they were jumped over their heads, and they were killed. Yes, they died. They died one by one.
Gideon Nieuwoud is now on trial in the Port Elizabeth Supreme Court for murder. The Motherwell bombing case. The state alleges that he was involved in the murder of other policemen. At the Truth Commission hearing this week, Nieuwoud was once again implicated in torture. Because of the court order, he was referred to as Mr. X or that policeman we cannot name.
So we will ask you that question now, Nkuseli Jack. Do you intend to name Gideon Nieuwoud as a perpetrator in your testimony?
I had him, I think 70% of my testimony would have dwelled on the matters relating to the person you mentioned.
Is Nieuwoud you are mentioning here the gentleman who is known as Lieutenant Colonel Nieuwoud, who brought an application for certain names not to be mentioned, certainly not his name? Is that who you are talking about?
That is exactly the person I'm talking about. no Mr. X lo ndingazombiza ngagama.
There was also Mr. X, who I'm not going to mention today.
Wathi sizawuthena ntanga apha.
They said, we are going to castrate you today. That's what Mr. X said to me. People must know that this man that we're not supposed to mention, people must know how busy he was, how active he was in the torturing of people. You could see that even if he was walking, he was just walking as if he owns the world.
He personally tortured me on more than... look, the first time I was tortured by Nivoud. The last time I was tortured by Nivoud. That's back in 1979 and 1980. Now the last time it was 1987 when he put me in a boot of a car from Port Elizabeth to Fort Brown. Fort Brown is between Grahamstown and Fort Beaufort. In a boot of a car, after having been tortured in Willowdene, where they were torturing, and put this canvas over your face, and they did that to me there.
Despite Nivoud's court order, the Mtimkulus are confident that they will testify. It is time for Elizabeth Mtimkulu to make the stand. The acting chairperson makes an announcement.
We call the next witness. The next witness was supposed to be Mrs. Mtimkulu. We are going to hold back that case until lunchtime today. Order, order, order. Masizole.
Okay,
Mama jonga mama ufaka uluthethayo mama jonga mama.
Yeah, we must defy this nonsense.
Elizabeth Mtimkulu cannot testify today.
In Cape Town, a court is sitting. The lawyers representing Jan Duprier and Nick van Rensbeck have filed application that Mrs. Mtimkulu must not climb that podium. We are waiting for that judgment to come anytime this morning, and we have been ordered that we wait until that judgment comes. That shows the difficulty that we are facing as this commission.
For some time, the Truth Commission proceedings are disrupted as angry youth demand to hear the Mtimkulus.
What we do, let us ask the Truth Commission to come back to Port Elizabeth, as soon as possible. We can give them 5 days or so, but then the credibility of the Truth Commission is what we must protect at the moment, because correct, we are all angry about what they are trying to do, but they are going to try. Those guys on evil, they are abusing the very constitution you fought for.
A number of people in this hall are angry that this process is being delayed again. They would have preferred that Mr. and Mrs. Mtimkulu are given a chance to tell their story. Those perpetrators who are named own up to what they've done or deny what they have not done, and the process of healing begins as speedily as possible. And I want to emphasize that the 3 parties involved here, we on this side of the table, the leaders of the community, the family of Mrs. Mtimkulu, have all agreed on this proposal. That we supply all that is required for a hearing to be held in this hall, specifically to deal with the Mtimkulu matter, sometime during the month of June.
Abantu abalanda ubomi babazali akasiphiwo zulunjini emfihlaka zuliye simanga nceda Thixo ezinto zenziwayo kweli khaya masibe ngumfuziselo omhle ophelisa Nkosi inzondo kasiphiwo Thixo wethu olungileyo dali wezulu nomhlaba.
I think this case is now in the Eastern Cape region. I know that it's becoming a very crucial case for whether people are going to take this process of reconciliation via the Truth and Reconciliation Commission seriously, or whether they are going to write it off. We are going to do all in our powers to pin them down to a date in June.
If Gideon Nieuwoud were to sit in front of you like I do now, what would your advice to him be?
I think I would advise in the interest of reconciliation that if he is innocent, he should immediately approach the commission, approach the East London office of the commission, and arrange that he clears his name. But if he knows that he has been involved in any way, he should approach the Amnesty Committee.
Repression in the Eastern Cape had always been more severe than elsewhere. The Commission was confronted with more harrowing accounts of torture this week. Sicelo Apleni was a Port Elizabeth UDF activist. He was detained in 1985.
I was beaten up.
Mr. X.
The first person to assault me was Mr. X. He took my genitals. They opened a drawer. The fuck was on the other side of the desk. He took my genitals. And Mr. X shut the drawer. At that time, I haven't been taken to the bridge yet. Then all my genitals were in this drawer, and the drawer was shut close. He squeezed and squeezed my genitals.
Epsom Banda was a Uteneg civics leader. He was also detained in 1985.
Sometimes, yes, I do get furious about what happened to me. And then sometimes I want to scream.
The problem
Now, usually what happens after that, I can't even sleep. Until 1 a.m. sometimes I can't sleep. It's still haunting me in my head. I don't know how I can help this.
Dennis Neer, a Port Elizabeth trade unionist, was also a victim of the wild days of the states of emergency.
Something was going to happen because somebody came to the front, held me at my shoulders, and then tried to kick my private parts, you know. Then I would bend. Then somebody was hitting me at my lower back with something like a pick handle, something like that. Order, please. Then this would continue front and back. If I bend to the back, then this guy hits me. If I bend to the front, when he hits me, this one kicks me.
Perhaps I should remind you of the structure of the Truth Commission before we move our focus to the hearings at Bokeng in Northwest Province. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission is divided into 3 committees: the Committee on Human Rights Violations, the Committee on Amnesty, and the Committee on Rehabilitation. The Committee on Human Rights Violations listens to victims or relatives of victims of torture, murder, and disappearances. The Committee on Amnesty hears applications for amnesty from people guilty of human rights violations. To qualify for amnesty, perpetrators must have had a political objective and must make full disclosure. The committee can set aside jail sentences, and people who are granted amnesty may not be tried for those acts again. The Committee on Reparation and Rehabilitation considers the plight of victims and may consider compensation. This committee has not had a public hearing to date. Well, the first amnesty applications were heard at Bokeng this week. It is just one of the many sad chapters in the history of the former government's disastrous homeland policies. Matebe Mountain Pass, a pile of stones. This is how the Bafokeng remind themselves of victory in battle over the Baurutsi in the late 1700s. Yet conflict between the Bafokeng and a leading Baurutsi member continued well into present-day politics. Lucas Mangope from the Baurutsi line was installed as president of Bophuthatswana in 1977. Leader of the Bafokeng, the late Chief Lebone Molotlegi, strongly opposed the Bantustan system. The Bafokeng insisted on tribal independence and wanted their seat of power, Phokeng, to remain a part of South Africa. Mangope was equally insistent that it would never happen. The Bafokeng are a rich tribe. 80% of the world's platinum is mined on their land. Yet Mangope was given control over their lands and mineral rights.
It was the first time to experience the split among the tribe, and this was brought by the then president of Bophuthatswana.
Bafokeng resistance led to the arrest and eventual exile of the sickly Chief Molotlegi. He fled to Botswana in 1988. This finally split the Bafokeng tribe.
After the chief left for Botswana, Mr. Mokgatle became the leader. And during his leadership, there was a split in the council. He wanted us to agree with him that the king's brother is the real chief and he has to rule us. And we were in opposition with his idea, and there was a split among the council. And something terrible happened. We wanted to hear what happened, what was taking place in the council. The ones who were honest to the king, we were expelled from their councils.
Boy Diale and Christopher Machale are Bafokeng. In 1990, they killed the man they saw as a Bophuthatswana puppet, 83-year-old Glad Mokgatle. Diale is serving a 12-year jail sentence and Machale 15 years for the murder. They want to be released from prison and have asked for amnesty. Their amnesty hearing took place at the Bafokeng Civic Center, the symbol of Bafokeng power and pride. And it is the battle for keys to this building that led to the murder of Glad Mokgatle.
We said to ourselves, we are going to search for the keys to our offices. Those keys do not belong to the Bophuthatswana government, they belong to the Bafokeng tribe. We decided to kidnap Mr. Glad Mokgatle. The decision was to keep him at a place where we would not be seen by anyone, and we would interrogate him to ask him questions about the keys. On our arrival, we knocked, and we found that woman called a girlfriend. And then we asked her, where is Mr. Glad Mokgatle?
Bari, re batla tlete. Ka re ao. Ha ke nagane gore ka nte batho ba batla ka ntwa. E be ke ba ra ke re ao. Le ka tlo batla tlete fa. Ke le sa mmatle kwa go. E ba ro ka nte wena re tlo tshameka gofo. E be ke re ao. Ka nte bile le tla ka ntwa.
Mr. Mokgatle came from the bedroom and he had a panga in his hand. It was sharpened on both sides. If I have to give the measurement, it would be twice the size of my hand. 4 of us went into the house and the others were remaining outside.
Batho ba le ba tsena e ba simola yana ba konopa ka matlapa nna e ke tswa ba o mo a ntshwere ke ema mofurisi bona ba montsha ka motla sa bolao e ba mo kuka ba bangwe ba bedi ba tshwara ko morago ba bangwe ba tshwara e ba tswa kae ke ga ba tla tsama kae.
And when I entered the house, he had already been grabbed by the rest of the men, and they took him into the kumbi. We drove into the field, and it happened that they attacked him. I must say I was one of those people who attacked him because I was already emotional. Because he didn't want to listen to our issue. We wanted the keys. Most unfortunately, we lost our temper. We hit him until he died. I kicked him. And I hit him with my fists and I strangled his neck. That's the part I took in the killing. I was really angry because there was never such a decision to assault him. When we drove off, I had a look at Mr. Mokhatle and I could see that he was still alive. I took the sabel from him and I chopped him. I chopped him personally. I chopped him because I realized that we were heading for the prison. I wanted to sweep away the evidence. I didn't want anybody to know or to have any light that Mr. Mokhatle was here.
Mr. Mokhatle was left at that spot where he was attacked.
There can be no doubt whatsoever that this murder was a grave crime and that it was a brutal crime, and we won't try and persuade you otherwise.
Brian Curran, the lawyer for Diale and Mokhatle, argued that despite the gravity of their act, they met the Commission's requirements for amnesty.
Their political objective, their associated political objective, was not only to get keys, and we heard that. It was to take over to take back the affairs of the tribe, to take back governance of the tribe, to take back that power of the tribe, of their own people.
The fate of these two men now rests with the Amnesty Committee. But for the Bafokeng, their public confession spelt a new start.
That's why today I've come here in front of the Commission and the Bafokeng tribe and the granddaughters of Mr. Clegg, and I'm come to please ask for forgiveness from them.
I want the deceased family to forgive me about what I did.
Really, what these people have done is very terrible, but the truth that they have told this commission or this committee stems from political connotations. I should think they have been released by that, the truth they told this committee, and I have forgiven them.
Chief Lebone Molotlegi returned to a changed South Africa in 1994. He died a year later, before he could witness the reconciliation of his people. His eldest son, Chief Lebone too, now has to unify the Bafokeng.
This is the first amnesty hearing in the whole South Africa. And this is the time to show the whole country that we are a responsible nation, and then we want to come together as the citizens of this country. We can make history once more and show the world that even if we've been so violated, we can come together and be one.
But the full picture of Bophuthatswana's past might never be known. One man central to the drama, Lucas Mangope, was not there.
I have no intention of taking part in any way in the commission. I am aware that allegations were made. These were far-fetched, and in my opinion, they were malicious. And it is my view, after having been subjected to a malice-driven commission, that it is very, very important that one be considered the right to reply, and that professional lawyers should put under cross-examinations allegations made. And that way, in my view, is the only way that the truth such truth as the Bible says will set us free will be established.
We're coming to the end of our program. But before we go, the poignant story of a mother, her missing son, and the unexpected revelation about who his father was. Oliver Mpatla's son, Wanwabisi, went into exile as a 21-year-old in 1981. She has never seen him again.
Thank you.
To the Truth Commission, with whom do I reconcile? Because I don't know what happened. I therefore humbly ask you to investigate what happened to my son. What happened in Tanzania? What happened in Europe? Or maybe South Africa for that matter. What stood between him and his father? Who intercepted him? I know his interest in ANC was double-pronged: to fight for the liberation struggle and meet his father in exile. My son would never let me worry like this if he was alive. He was brilliant, he was loving, he was considerate, he was my joy.
Your son's family is Mbeki. Just please explain to us, who are these Mbekis exactly? And please tell us, who is your son's father? Because we have noticed that you talk about him so many times, because it looks like his name is very important in this case, but you haven't mentioned him. If you would like to answer this question, please do so.
I refrain from answering that question.
I didn't hear clearly. Nokwanda, please repeat your answer so that everybody can hear. When I talk about the Mbeki family, I'm talking about Governor Mbeki's family. About the second question now. Please, I ask to refrain from answering that question.
The legal battles between the Truth Commission and police officers will continue this coming week. From the Special Report team, goodbye until next Sunday.